Very good afternoon to everyone. Myself, Ashish Day, working as a regional manager at Esri India. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this most awaited webinar, Unlock the Power of GIS in Architecture, Engineering and Construction. I'm joined today by my colleague, Mr. Upendra, Technical Manager at Esri India. And together, we look forward to an insightful session with you all. So, when we talk about architecture, engineering, and constructions, what we talk about actually. So, we are essentially discussing the backbone of nation's infrastructure. And national infrastructure is a critical component of India's economy, with massive investments pouring into its sector. As a result, aspects like workflow efficiency, time management, and project delivery become more important than ever. And in today's technology-driven world, we have numerous digital solutions. We have numerous software. We have SaaS. We have whatnot. So ranging from software and SaaS platforms to advanced design tools, among these, GIS stands out as a game changer by providing location intelligence that enhances decision making and project execution. So now, before we dive into this session, let me pose a question to all of you. Which GIS feature have the most impact on your project efficiency and decision making? So let's warm the session with this question, and feel free to share your thoughts in the chat box. And we are expecting some, answers from your sides. Let's warm up the session again. So I hope we will receive some answers from yours. I repeat the question, which GIS features have had the most impact on your project efficiency and decision making? You can write it in the chat box, and we are hopeful that to get a few answers from your side. Oh, we got the first answer, field map application usage. That's very good, Hussein. So on those lines, if we again, yeah, that's just online also. Okay, fine. So we are receiving some answers that we will discuss later, and so on that same line, on that same note, and if you move forward, we do have a lot of questions that we faced in today's world while using the GIS. So the first question, after asking this first question, I will ask that how do you use the GIS for site selection, environmental impact assessment, or infrastructure planning? How do you manage and analyze geospatial data to optimize construction and maintenance planning? These are the questions which we face today. Now, if you go into more into details, then I can ask you the next question about would real-time GIS dashboards improve your project monitoring? If so, what insights would be the most valuable? Now, again, if we go into the project's execution session, if we go other aspects, then we do arise, then we come up with some digital solutions challenges, like are you leveraging the primary advantage of using GIS with traditional CAD software for infrastructure planning? So on the same note, we faced a few questions more about how we can integrate the GIS with BIM in your projects. And if you have done so, how? So all these questions we face day to day in our day-to-day life practice. So how with all these questions we face, we hope that this session we will answer all these questions, and there will be definitely a key takeaways from our side. So without wasting such time, let's go to our agenda. So we will be having more or less with 6 topics over here. So we will start with some introductions, then we will go to the why GIS and how it is important in the AC industry. Then we will go with the AC life cycles, because it's a long, time-taking process, along with segmentation. Like we need to plan first, then design, then build, then operate. So it's a long process where we try to optimize and get the optimum results. So this is where the GIS plays an important role, and my technical person will be describing how this synchronization of these two platforms, like with connecting the GIS pros along with the connected data environment. So this is what our agenda is right now, and we will be delving into all these 6 topics, which will be helping for large complex infrastructure in APC as well. So let's start with who we are as of now. So about Esri, we will definitely say that we are global leader in geographic information systems software and location intelligence along with mapping. and we deploy over 650,000 organizations globally. So that's how we are right now. And along with that, 90% Fortune companies of out of 100 companies, most national governments, 30,000 cities, and local governments use our state technologies. So why not you? Now, again, we talk about our presence. So right now we are having 49 offices worldwide and 6,000 professionals over there. So this is our presence. But why are we the world leading company? It's because we spend 30% of our revenue in our R&D, and that to solve the greatest challenges our world is facing today. Now about Esri India, that we have mentioned about the Esri presence is globally. Now in India, we have established in 1996, and along with Delhi NCR, we do have offices in 7 cities across the country, delivering the GIS technology to over 6,500 customers and 1 million users are there. So we do have a 700 plus team of as of now in India, and we have also certified as a great place to work. So this was about our introduction. Now let's start the session with poll questions so that we can interact with you as well in a interval of time, and let's make the session more engaging. So our first poll is for a GIS related requirement in any of your projects, who's your default GIS partner? So kindly vote for this poll. We will have an a quite of alignment according to sources. Who is your default GIS partner as of now? So that's Esri. That's really great. We were expecting some more. Okay, so we received some others as well. So we received some open source as well. So as of now, Esri is our most of them are using. Okay. Okay. So that was the poll, and let's hand over the session to Mr. Upinder.
Yep. Thanks, Ashish. So the poll itself reflects that most of you guys are using Esri as the solution for your entire GIS workflows. Okay. Let's move ahead. Yeah, first of all, warm welcoming you all for this session. Moving ahead, we'll uncover some workflows. We'll take a look at some of the challenges which AEC industry is facing nowadays, and some of them are resolved with the better technology integration. And as we all know, the entire project cannot be completed in one particular single solution in one particular platform. So we need a particular integration of all the solution, be it ERP, be it scheduling, be it for 3D, 4D, or 5D integration. Okay, so we'll first take a look at what is the role of GIS in AEC industry and how it is reshaping the entire AEC world and market. We all know, like most of you guys have given the poll, you are using Esri as a platform. Now you must be knowing what is GIS. So for everyone, as we all know, we have spatial and non-spatial relation, okay, with a particular context. When we put entire information in a particular platform, in a particular system, then it frames a geographical information system which can be leveraged in order to create a map or data, okay, in the form of the BIM data or the remote sense data. Now, these all data which we gather, these all when we brought in our system, okay, this can be utilized in order to create a better mapping and visualization of the entire projects, of the entire site. Environment assessment we can do the monitoring and reporting of the entire project. We can do the better planning, and the policy making and decision making becomes quite seamless with that. Okay, so data, as we all know, the currency of this generation, and it will remain. Okay, so if there is any sort of lag in the data, there is months or years of delays, okay, in the project delivery. So we have to maintain a common data environment initially. So this is what our entire GIS talks about, and entire GIS platform brings to our users. Moving ahead, what AEC solution we are delivering, or we can utilize the entire workflow in terms of GIS. Okay, so initially any project is starting with the environmental assessment that can be done with the natural resource management. Okay, that these are for the different sectors, it varies. So just suppose climate change analysis that can be done for a particular sector. Similarly, just suppose if there is any EPC project, any large infrastructure project, so how in disaster preparedness and response system we can create. So if we have a better data, and we can do an informed decision, then we can do the disaster preparedness accordingly. So moving ahead with the planning stage, we can incorporate our GIS platform for urban and regional planning. Then doing the transportation planning. Okay, so traffic analysis, traffic assessment we can do, performing the green space planning, emergency management. Engineering aspect comes into play when during the project life cycle. So there the GIS can be used for site selection. Okay, for the site suitability modeling, which we used to do in our ArcGIS platform. We can do that over there. We can do the water management. So just suppose we have to do watershed analysis, or we have to create the streamline. So we have our Hydro tool that can be utilized at a particular workflow for the engineering aspects. Similarly, infrastructure design and operations can be managed. Construction phase comes into play, where our 4D and 5D comes into play. Okay, so such that there should not be any sort of delay. That's why scheduling and planning can be done accordingly. Similarly, we can implement GIS solution from the AEC perspective in digital project delivery and handover. And entire environmental and health and safety organizations are using it at multiple scale. All these things can be achieved with in one particular environment, that is our ArcGIS, where the complete mapping and cartographic activity can be performed. Okay, and with much more flexibility in creating layouts, be it 2D or 3D symbology, which we can provide. Which is helpful for us to do the topographic assessment, and then creation of that into the bathymetry of a particular project. Okay, we can create the thematic maps. We can do the dashboarding out of that, but out of the data which we already incorporate, where the location intelligence is there. Okay. Similarly, that can be taken into much more in order to create the parcels. Now parcels, just suppose for real estate firms, when we are utilizing when we are utilizing our parcel fabric tool, so that can be utilized in order to do the proper subdivision planning. Okay, so that can be done with a particular workflow. Similarly, in utilities, we can implement the same GIS workflows. As we all know, all infrastructure projects initially starts with planning. Okay, and that's where the survey starts, and with survey the data comes into play, where all these data needs to be incorporated, and accordingly we can create this in our platform. Okay, so entire mapping and cartography, which is finally helpful for us to do the dynamic visualization, and helps us to do the much more informed decisions. As I already mentioned, okay, the science of where. So where matters a lot in current context. Okay, so if we have informed decisions, then if we have the information about where of a particular building, okay, then we have the accessibility planning, okay, or evacuation planning in terms of emergency. So that can be achieved. Similarly, if we have a public transit plans, okay, we can predict the capacity. So once we create a digital twin of entire city, we can create where the BIM, AIR, PIR content comes into play, and these contents can be used to do the in order to predict the entire capacity of a particular station or particular yard. So similarly, local heritage and archaeology understands the entire impact of the proposals in those aspects. Integration, as we'll move ahead also, I'll talk much more about the integration and capability which we have, which helps us to analyze and performs and predict the maintenance at various levels. Similarly, traffic at a particular bridge space. If we have this information, then traffic impact can easily be assessed. And accordingly, its maintenance and repairing work can be made possible, okay, with much more easier way. Okay, we can model human and traffic movement. We can understand the tree planting and urban heat islands. So as we all know, we have for rain, as we all know, there is a standard margin that is allotted, okay, for every residential plot to be constructed. If it is made commercial, we have to do that proposition as the rainwater harvesting. Okay, so we have to provide a sort of a percentage of our plot in order to achieve the rainwater harvesting. So that can helps us to predict whether the urban heat islands with respect to the tree planting which we had done. Okay, so this the context. So the importance of context it plays an important role where this where comes into play, and we have much more informed decisions. Ultimately, we can collaborate and across multiple complexity across the entire projects. Moving ahead with before moving ahead, I'll pose some poll questions in front of you. So the poll question for this is: at what stage of project life cycle do you think GIS has potential to deliver maximum value? So you can share your thoughts, or you can give your inputs in terms of planning, be it designing, construction, operation, and maintenance. So at what stage of the project life cycle do you think GIS has potential to deliver maximum value? Okay, so response coming is like, we are doing maximum during the planning stage. We are leveraging the GIS in our entire project life cycle during the planning stage. Okay, great. Yeah, like everyone has answered right. Okay, there is no wrong answer in this. Okay, so when we say the usage of GIS across the project life cycle, then I must tell you a project life cycle has 4 stages where it starts with planning, designing, construction, and operation and maintenance. Okay, so all answer is correct. Okay, there is no particular one answer for this question. We can leverage GIS at all 4 stages, and equally important because we are getting information about our location. If one so I already said, if we have input, or if we have input the data in wrong manner, or if you have wrong data input, okay, then there will be like there will be like, months of delays, months and years of delays that can cost a lot for the large projects. Okay. So at each and every stage, this is important. Okay, let's move ahead. Thanks for your answer. So moving ahead. Okay, so I'll talk about GIS across AEC lifecycle, where we talk about plan, design, build, and operate. Okay. I already said a single platform is not sufficient for a large EPC project. Okay, when we say, if just suppose you have a railway, you have to construct a new railway line. Okay, a greenfield project. So a single platform, just suppose you need integration between multiple platforms. Okay, and the data as I said, the data plays much important role over here. Okay, so if you have much more informed data at your place, so the decisions can be made very swiftly and much more accurately, and pre-assessment can be done in much better way. Okay, so entire environmental and health and safety considerations comes into play in this. Okay, so taking care of that, the master planning is done. Okay, so master planning gives us a context in which whether our entire project is feasible or not. Okay, so this master planning also where the data comes into play, and we have a great use database as well. Okay, where we can use the land use, land cover information, and other layers which we have already in our platform. So I'll talk about that in later slides. Okay, so after doing the master planning, we must do that accordingly with the regulatory and permitting authority, where the approvals needs to be taken. Okay, and once taken that approval, the proper design needs to be done. So this is the pre-assessment stage, where we are designing that during the bidding stage, whether we are bidding for the right where we are bidding for the right project or not. Okay, whether it is feasible or not. So that can plays an important role, whether we have to involve into a particular project or not. Okay, so that's where our decisions comes into play, where information about where comes into play, and this planning is done in our GIS platform. Okay, where we have rich data source, and that can be leveraged at initial stages. So at pre-construction stage, we have much more informed decisions. After allotment of that project, okay, we do the construction, and construction as we have designed the entire data. So construction is done, and similarly, the entire documentation and turnover can be managed, and accordingly our 4D with time, and then 5D with costing, that comes into play, and we create a much more, we deliver the project on time. Okay, after delivery of the project, operation and maintenance comes into play. So if we have a digital twin creation, so these are the capability if we have a rich data source. Okay, so data at the center, and we have a platform where we can integrate all these data, and helpful for creation of result, ultimately the digital twin, which can be at later stage. So digital twin has multiple approaches. I'll talk about that as well. Okay, multiple approaches as per the Esri, and that can be helpful during the operation and maintenance stages, where can be made much more swiftly, where we have the information about each and every element of our projects. Okay, and the designed data which we have, such that operation and maintenance can be made a much more easier way. So this is how the entire life cycle works. Okay, so, at multiple stage, there are users from the site performing the site analysis, doing the master planning, creating conceptual design, gives us the pre-feasibility, giving us the pre-feasibility of the entire project. doing the detailed design, okay, designing done on the BIM platform, bringing it in directly dragging and drop into our ArcGIS platform, be it on the desktop application, and creating multiple layers. Okay, so ArcGIS reads those layers, those BIM files. We have multiple integrations for that. As a platform, we are integrated with the other partners of ours. Okay. And then ultimately the class detection analysis can be performed. So after visualizing the entire BIM model in our system, okay, the informed design decisions can be made possible. Incorporating 4D and 5D into our project, where in order to perform the construction logistics and all, we can create dashboards, status monitoring and all. And then the digital delivery of entire project is made possible. Okay, so ultimately we can achieve in a one particular platform, we can achieve all these 4 stages. We play a much more important role. Okay, so the people and process, the entire entire elements remains connected. Okay, so GIS, what it is doing ultimately, it is creating a relationship between multiple elements which we are designing, okay, or we are incorporating into our design. So once we create the relationship between each and every layers, we can perform analysis, and those analysis gives us helps us to do much more informed decisions, helps us to predict the risk, okay, at any stages. Okay, if we are designing, we can do the informed decisions at that particular time. So as the entire project, when we say the project life cycle, it only starts with planning. So initially pre-feasibility study is done and site evaluation can be made possible. Okay, so how it can be made possible? So if we have let's take an example of as I am taking an example of a railway station to be constructed. Okay, so we have to do the site selection of a railway station. Okay, first thing. Second thing, there should be equivalent cutting and filling. Okay, so that equilibrium can be maintained. So we can have that analysis of cut and fill. Our exploratory analysis tools can be utilized there. We can create the flood plains. We can create the entire parcels, segregate it into parking lot, do the assessment of that, where the ponding areas comes into play. So ultimately, if we have aerial imagery, if we have point cloud data comes into play as a survey data, and we incorporate that as our platform supports that only. Okay, so this feasibility studies becomes much more easier. Later stage, the risk assessment and all. Now, when it comes to like the drone data which comes into play, that can be used for the multiple stages as well. So entire project life cycle that can be leveraged. Okay, so we can use the land use, land cover information, forest area information, the entire forest boundaries. We can take information about the topography. We can create the contours. We can plan the entire railway station accordingly. Okay, and it much more feasible. So there is a limitation when we are planning any railway station. There is limitation that it should not be far away from the main center of a particular location, 5 kilometers away from the main center of a particular city. Okay, so it is made like that, and for every 5 kilometers we have to provide one railway station near to that one, plus minus 1-2 kilometers, like that. Okay, so keeping all these checklists into mind, we can do the pre-feasibility study. So ultimately, this pre-feasibility study can be achieved as we have a rich source of data in our Living Atlas, and till date, as we have n number of like global data. We have n number of layers. But when it comes to like India content, we have 1050 layers are there, which can be leveraged, be it rainfall data, be it land use, land cover data, be it the data like point of interest, be it airport boundaries, railway station, be it India admin boundaries, pin code boundaries at all. Okay, so you can get all this, and also you can add the OSM data as well. Okay, so you can incorporate into your design, directly connect in your desktop platform, and incorporate these all layers, okay, for your pre-feasibility study. And ultimately, this is our ArcGIS Pro, where we can do these all mapping and cartography with enhanced layout and symbologies. We can create like the labeling which we have. There are multiple 2D or 3D labeling symbology we can provide, and then we can provide these all generalizations. Okay. Yes, so ultimately time-enabled scene layers can be made possible. Moving ahead, before moving ahead, so I'll again post a poll question in front of you. Okay. If you have any queries, you can also write down in the chat window. So this poll question is like, how do you how do your field teams collect and report data from the project sites? So you can answer this by pen or paper, or still the traditional way of WhatsApp or custom mobile application. How you are using, how your field team is using to collect data from the project sites. Most of you have answered custom mobile application. That's great to hear. Yeah, exactly. So if you have a custom mobile application, it becomes very easier. You at initial stage only digitize the entire information. Okay, so if any information is digitized at initial stage, there is less chance of deletion of that data, or making, or so such that the entire team can leverage that digitized information, okay, at every stage. Pen paper, you can lose that data. WhatsApp, you can lose. Okay, but when you have customized mobile application, the data are much more important. Okay, thanks for sharing your answers. Okay, custom mobile applications. Thank you. Let's move ahead. I'll be talking about our GIS for large scale and complex infrastructure projects. I'm talking much more about the railway projects and all. Okay, so all infrastructure projects, as we all know, we have a survey solution, starting with the survey. Okay, and we have survey solutions as we have for the field reality and real time, such that we can do the field mapping or reality mapping and real time mapping, and bring this into our system. Okay, so field mobility, for field mobility, we have mobile based applications, okay, which you can leverage, and in order to collect data from the field, directly bring it into your ArcGIS Online or Enterprise. You can also use site scan or drone map, okay, or ArcGIS Reality Studio, and for real time ArcGIS Velocity, ArcGIS Geo Event Server. So all these informations can be brought into our ArcGIS Online and Enterprise. Now, bringing all these informations, so site scan as the drone application. Okay, so where we can do the site planning and flight planning as at initial stage, and then collect the data which creates the orthomosaic, 3D point clouds and meshes. And ultimately, we achieve the digital elevation models that, with our imageries, which can give the 360-degree panoramas and then thermal orthomosaics as well. Yeah, so that can be used for inspection and oriented imagery. That can be used at multiple stages, and ultimately the drone reality mapping with our side scan, we can create the elevation model. Okay, we can monitor the vegetation, we can do the time series analysis. Okay, we can perform that. So ultimately we can use, as I said in my previous slides also, we can use drones for in our planning stage, in our design, progress tracking, inspection, earthwork, quality control. We have to do the flight planning for at multiple times. Okay, we have to at multiple duration. Okay, and then we can compare and then we can do the entire progress tracking, initial planning, informed designing. For inspection, organizations are performing it for transmission tower, transmission line construction. Okay, that organizations are using, giving us the accurate earthwork calculation with our point cloud data, and then the entire quality control can be managed with the help of our drone solutions. So when we have point cloud data, when we have all BIM data, okay, of a particular city, so we can create a city information model, okay, where all the layers interacts with each other. At the same time, we can incorporate landscapes, we can incorporate the network information model and the BIM building information model. Okay, all these can be incorporated into one particular system, and Esri supports that. Okay, so bring all the into ArcGIS Pro or ArcGIS Online. Okay, in ArcGIS Pro, once you bring that data, you can perform analysis, you can again publish that data. Okay, so such that the entire digital twin creation becomes much more easier, and we can create a relationship between these all information models. What we can achieve after creating the digital twin, we can create smart railway stations and airport, which are much required at now at current stages. Okay, when we say our economic development, when we say our infrastructure development, okay, progress. So now is the time to use all those digitized information into a much more informed system, okay, that can be used at multiple stages. Okay, that can be used at multiple stages for planning, be it for the passenger service with the help of mobile application, providing concessions, safety and security, okay, maintenance and operations of smart railway stations and airports. So this is how the entire workflow is carried out. Okay, and we have the entire digital twin which we can create, and we can leverage it at multiple stages. Similarly, we have risk management that is done. So this is how for linear infrastructure projects where health and safety measures is taken, okay, and assessment is done. Risk management is done by input the hazards or the risk in a particular form, okay, and then incorporating that into our web-based application. We can do the review and then perform the editing part. Okay, so designers can perform the editing wherever required. Okay, so we can have much more yeah, we can say that the entire risk can be managed. So we can have the list of risk, the list of hazards, and those hazards can be eliminated. So we can have the ultimate data in front of us. We see there are sharp curves, okay, in our roadways somewhere. Okay, so that is improper design. So when we have these all things when digitized and come into put into a platform, okay, put into a form, and then it can be reviewed. That particular station and that particular location can be made visible to each and every person that this is the most accident prone area, okay, that can be identified, and okay, accordingly the design can be edited at or at earlier stage or at later stages. Similarly, PG&E digital twin operation and maintenance is done with the drone survey data. Okay, so point cloud data in order to inspection and progress in inspection of the entire 3D data which they had created, okay, with the point clouds. So this inspection, whether the assets and the pull-up list, and with respect to the entire the photograph that is taken. Okay, so that assessment can be done. Project management is done. So design and construction projects. Jacobs is utilizing it and leveraging GIS for their linear infrastructure projects as well as for their wet utilities as well. Okay. Similarly, if I say HNTV, so these are the global use cases which we have, and they are leveraging it at multiple stages. So I said this 5D integration, okay, is done by the HNTV for the Jamaica station, where they have prior information about the entire project schedule, okay, done, whether it is delaying or not, and how much costing it will, how much costing it will do, for if a particular duration, if the project gets extended. Okay, so they can do the prior assessment, and they had scripted it out. The entire 5D is made possible. Okay, so accordingly, with a particular time frame, the pricing, the costing gets involved. Now here, what they had done, they had incorporated the object ID with the costing information. So once it gets laid down in the context, automatically the costing gets involved. Okay, and this is how the 5D incorporation has been done. Similarly, site and project analytics is done by the Dawood Engineering, Mott McDonald, and now they had used it for linear projects, be it for pipeline. So Dawood Engineering had done it for land acquisition for the pipeline projects. Okay, and entire land project management system. Okay, they had designed, and accordingly they had delivered it before time and much. Okay, so they had also created the acquisition portal. So how much land is acquired and how much it is not. So in India, for any infrastructure project, land acquisition is the biggest problem. Okay, so at initial stage, if it is done, so streamlined, then there should not be any delays in the entire project. Campus facilities and building management is done. So for large infrastructure, when we say airport asset management is done, so San Francisco International Airport is the live example where the entire asset is managed, and digital twin creation is done for their airport, and accordingly the routing and space planning is managed. Yeah, public works management is done with the help of GIS, where we can do the tracking construction progress, we can do the engineering design, and we can have the underground infrastructure. Some use cases, let's see. Okay. So we can use our GIS online platform as well. Okay, for site visit and pre-investment stage module. So this is for the financial institutions if they have if they want to take leverage of GIS in the pre-investment or evaluation of their investment. Okay, so they can have they can create the entire application and bring it into their entire projects into this map, okay, where the project status can be put into the dashboard. So the project up for review, and that can be added where the additional capabilities can be incorporated with respect to writing notes, adding the informations, and incorporating any change if happening, and accordingly the drive time can be managed. Okay, so with this drive time, Esri's routing service comes into play, that is working from the background, okay, such that they have the real-time location of at particular location. Okay, so that routing can easily be displayed. So entire pre-investment and post-investment module can be created for the financial institutions. Similarly, for linear infrastructure projects, organizations can bring their entire projects into a particular map where they can incorporate road layers, railway layers, okay, and they can have information about the valuations and the entire length of the stretch, okay, which they are going to construct. So who is their L1, L2, and who is the contractor currently working. Accordingly, they can perform analysis, do the buffer analysis on a particular section, and do whether the feasibility is there or not. Okay, what would be the if they are into during the construction stage, so what would be the movables, immovables feasibility for their logistic, okay, that can be maintained, so that they can have that assessment, and ultimately this entire thing can be put into a particular dashboard so they can have project overview. We have implemented Kasi Geo Hub, okay, at city level. So for 3D Varanasi, 3D Varanasi city, okay, and with this Geo Hub open data geo portal, if you can visit, okay, you can see there are different applications, be it for the sewerage management, be it for be it for yeah digital, be it for the 3D zoning, okay, that is done for the entire city. Okay, so that is done. So that information is already incorporated in the Kasi Geo Hub portal, and they has leveraged our enterprise portal for that. Yes, so infra projects, urban use cases are there. So with the help of Geo AI applications and the deep learning module which we have, okay, there are trained models already we have in our ArcGIS Living Atlas, okay, which can be used for road extraction, partial edge detection, groundwater prediction in Telangana that has been used, okay. So detecting roads, cracks, and pothole detections can be done, and accordingly the management can be done. So these are at multiple stages. These GeoAI applications can be utilized. So we have poll questions. Okay, so you can answer this. When it comes to GIS, the biggest challenge you face is, I know most of you will answer this, data accuracy, software limitation, integration with other tool, lack of training. Okay, okay, lack of training, most of you are answering. Okay, great. We'll move ahead. Data accuracy is also an important important element that comes into play. Okay. Similarly, software limited. We have integration also. That is a major factor. Okay. So yeah, thanks for answering this poll question. Let's move ahead. So let's talk something about our integration with our ArcGIS platform. We have multiple integration. As I said, entire project cannot be done in one particular application. So we have integration with Autodesk. We support Bentley's file formats. We have and the file database from ERP for scheduling or from the BIM file or the survey data in order to create the entire common data environment. Okay, so all these files formats can be integrated into our system and in our ArcGIS platform. So we have a strategic integration with Autodesk. Okay, so we complement Autodesk workflow as they are the best in the BIM. So we are the best in the geospatial world. Okay, so therefore there are a lot of integration. There are a connector for ArcGIS in Civil 3D, in InfraWorks and AutoCAD, and their water solutions. Similarly, where they can leverage the content, ArcGIS Living Atlas content or our ArcGIS online account content. Okay, so and accordingly seamlessly connect in the cloud environment and as a platform as well. There are a lot of improvement that has done. Okay, so if we say the TopoSolid, so for Revit TopoSolid that is read over here, now we can have the underground visualization as well. So we can cut and edit that as well. Okay, so parking lot. Similarly, we have integration with Civil 3D. So in Civil 3D, we can do the scene creation of subsurface as well as we can do the entire corridor that is created. Once we have this BIM connection, we can do incorporate our railway design or roadway design into our platform ArcGIS Pro. So this is ArcGIS Pro, okay, where we are leveraging Civil 3D integration. We can bring in the files and accordingly we can do the simulations or the create a digital twin out of this as well. Okay. In AutoCAD, we have this branch versioning integration where we all know this synchronization has been done in real time where editing can be done in when we have CAD users and we have GIS users. Okay, so both can work at one particular project such that one editing can be easily be synchronized in Civil 3D that can be incorporated into our ArcGIS platform. So this is how it is done. Okay, adding the data, connecting with our organizations, and then incorporating the change in our laterals. So this is the subdivision where editing is done for the water infrastructure, water network, and the branch versioning is created. Okay, so lateral is created, and then that information is put over there, and accordingly it can be synchronized and managed in our ArcGIS platform. Okay. Moving ahead with cloud to cloud integration as Autodesk and ArcGIS support. So Autodesk BIM 360 or ACC, Autodesk Construction Cloud integrates with ArcGIS Online, and we have a common platform where in ArcGIS Online we have GeoBIM, which brings the BIM data into live. Okay, and we can do the reviews and issue creation of the dashboards so that stakeholders can make the informed decisions. So, and this is how for a particular project, just like the civic center, the entire reviews can be done for the BIM models. Yes, so we'll talk about the benefits of implementing. As I said, a lot data is the center, and if there is any undulation or if there is any loss of the data, then it will be really difficult to do the project delivery on time. Okay, so when we have this workflow data like this at till operation stage, then we have much more streamlined workflow. Okay, and there will be very less information loss. I'll talk about Esri's digital twin approach. as an environmental twin. We can create planning twin with our GIS city engine. Okay. Now digital twin construction, operation twins we can create, and ultimately this is how the digital twin looks like, where we have 3D building structures, and we have informed the entire city infrastructure comes into play. We have information about the routes, the entire transits informations. Similarly, this gives us information about a particular, if we zoom into a particular project where the BIM model, how the entire BIM model looks like in real scenario, and what informed decisions can be made from the municipal perspectives. There should not be any unregistered development that is done, okay, that can easily be mapped. And accordingly, the segregation can be made possible with respect to different zoning which we provide. We can have informed decision about the underground utilities. Then we can have such that public works department can work properly, okay, if there is any sort of risk. Yes, this is all about today's session, okay, where, so here if we see, we can segregate by the elevation, okay, the entire zoning can be done. Similarly, we can have the information about the transit information and any crime scenes happening, okay, that decisions can easily be put into the municipal authority knowledge, okay. So that can be achieved, okay, by only creating a digital twin model of a city. We can perform the zoning information, of the city or our landmass in our ArcGIS urban or city engine, okay, and create a visualization and perform fantastic rendering, if you see over here. So yes, this is all about today's session.